All right, today we're jumping into a wild one. It's a 50-year-old murder mystery that got solved on television, only for science to come along and completely unsolve it. This is a story about a grisly discovery, a family's desperate search for answers, and, how a really good story can sometimes get in the way of the facts.
So imagine this is the question you're asked at the start of a true crime show. It was the hook for a documentary called Exhibit A. And man, what a hook it is. It sets the stage for this heartbreaking story that seems to wrap up with a perfect, if tragic, resolution. But as we're about to see, that resolution was anything but solid.
Okay, so first, let's get into the story everyone thought was true. This is the version that investigators pieced together, the one that was broadcast to the world as a done deal, a solved case. So picture this. It's 1995 in Toronto. A construction crew is tearing down an old auto dealership, and when they break through the concrete floor, they find a human skeleton buried about a meter down. Right away, this kicks off a huge investigation into a crime that had been literally buried for decades.
The experts get to work, and they start piecing together who this person was. The press calls her the Danforth lady, and what they found was brutal. The cause of death was murder by blunt force trauma. We're talking 7 different fractures on her skull, the kind of wounds you'd see from a hammer, suggesting just a huge amount of rage.
The police hit a wall, right? Missing person records from that far back are basically non-existent. So what do? They decide to give this victim a face. They hire a forensic artist, the reconstruction gets put in the local papers, and then the phone rings. And this was the first real break in the case. A man named Ronald Cox comes forward, and he is just completely convinced that the face in the paper is his mother, Dottie. She had disappeared back in 1943, just vanished. And all the circumstantial evidence, it was almost too perfect. The red hair, the height, the dental plate, even the family home was just a few blocks from where the body was found. He even remembered this horrible, violent fight between his parents the night she went missing. And this is the big climax of the documentary, right? The aha moment. They present this as the final scientific nail in the coffin, a DNA match. It's this huge moment of TV drama, delivering what looks like scientific certainty and emotional closure. The case of the Danforth lady was officially solved, or so it seemed. So the show presents this perfect, tidy little package, a mystery solved. But hold on, because this is where the story takes a massive turn. When scientists took a closer look years later, the science told a completely different story.
So you might be wondering, how do you even get a reliable DNA match from bones that have been in the ground for 50 years? You can't just run the standard tests. For a cold case this old, you need a very specific, very powerful tool.
And that tool is called mitochondrial DNA, or mtDNA for short. Now think of it like this. Unlike the DNA you get from both your parents, mtDNA comes only from your mother. It's also way tougher, meaning it can survive for decades, which makes it absolutely perfect for connecting a victim to their kids even half a century later. It's a really careful process. Scientists have to gently pull whatever tiny bits of DNA are left from the bone and create a genetic profile. And then comes the crucial step. They compare that profile to samples from living relatives to see if there's a match on the mother's side. It's delicate work, but it's incredibly powerful. Okay, so this is the part that is absolutely crucial to understand. Nuclear DNA, the stuff we hear about on CSI, it breaks down pretty fast. For a case like this, mtDNA is the gold standard. But here's the key. While it can't prove a specific relationship, like this is your mother, it has 100% power to exclude someone. If the mtDNA doesn't match, they absolutely cannot be related through their mother. It's a definitive no.
And this is where everything flips on its head. Years go by after that TV show airs, and a new team of forensic scientists decides to take another look at the original evidence. And what they found didn't just question the documentary's ending, it blew it to pieces.
So let's rewind for a second, back to that bombshell claim from the show. This was the statement the entire identification was resting on. They told the world that science had confirmed this was Dottie Cox.
But was it really confirmed? What happens when you put that TV claim under a modern scientific microscope? Well, in 2018, scientists did just that, and the results were absolutely shocking.
The answer they got back was just jaw-droppingly clear. You see this table? The MTD from the Danforth doe and the MTD from the Cox brothers shared 0 unique genetic markers. Not a few, 0. In the world of DNA, that's not a maybe not. That is a definitive 100% ironclad exclusion.
So the science could not have been clearer. The woman buried under that auto dealership was not and could never have been the mother of Ronald and Melville Cox. No match. End of story.
And the 2018 scientific paper just laid it all bare. It turns out the lab the documentary cited, they couldn't even do mTNA testing back then. The show had basically taken some fuzzy, inconclusive results from old nuclear DNA tests and wrongly reported it as a positive mTNA match. The entire identification was a complete mistake. Now, this isn't just about correcting the record for a TV show. This had real, heartbreaking consequences. It officially reopened a cold case and, tragically, reopened old wounds for a family that thought they had finally found peace.
I mean, just put yourself in Ronald Cox's shoes for a minute. For 50 years, you think your mom just walked out and abandoned you. Then, this documentary gives you a different story. It's a terrible one, sure, but it's an answer. It's closure. You finally believe you know what happened.
But it was all built on a falsehood. The scientific paper makes it painfully clear that son never really got closure. The truth is, his mother, Dottie Cox, is still a missing person. Her fate is still a total mystery. The family was right back at square one. And that's the real gut punch here. After all the headlines, the documentary, the investigation, the murdered woman found under all that concrete is still a Jane Doe. We still don't know her name, and her killer has never been brought to justice.
So all of this, it brings us to a much bigger conversation, right? It's about the tension between telling a really good, compelling story and reporting the cold, hard, scientific truth.
The Danforth Doe case really forces us to ask a tough question. The documentary gave us a complete, emotionally satisfying story. The science gave us a messy, inconclusive, and frustrating reality. It's such a stark reminder that behind every true crime narrative, there are real people looking for real answers. And when a good story gets chosen over the hard truth, the price isn't paid by the storytellers, it's paid by the people left behind in the dark.